Hi guys, everyone. Today I'm going to tell you about how big the 33.0 update can be. Yes, perhaps at first glance it seems to you that this is just another update, nothing special. Well, they'll fix bugs, add a couple of items, and that's it. But if you think a little deeper, it becomes clear that this particular update can really turn the whole game upside down. In general, I am sure that 33.0 will be one of the most discussed updates in the history of Melon Playground. And do you know why? Because the developers have already shown several times that even non-global versions can be unrealistically cool. Look at 27.0. Back then, no one expected that they would add a map editor, a lab, a nano-assembler, and a bunch of Easter eggs, which fans then found for weeks. It was just crazy. Everyone thought it would be some kind of small fix, but in the end we got a whole new era of the game. So, the same thing can happen with 33.0. And although technically it is not round, it does not end in 0. It already looks like something very unusual. Even just from rumors and hints, you can see that the developers have conceived something more than just a couple of new items. And now, attention! There's one thing that makes this update special: it's almost certainly coming on Halloween. And if so, then it can be called not just 33.0, but 33.666 or even 30.666. And you must admit, it sounds ominous and cool at the same time. This name in itself says that we are not waiting for an ordinary update, but something mystical, with secrets, darkness, and, perhaps, even hidden achievements. By the way, if you remember how developers played with numbers in versions in the past, they often use such hints to mislead fans. For example, a small detail in the name of a version sometimes meant that a new system or hidden mechanics would appear. So the number 666 may not just be an Easter egg for Halloween, but a real symbol of renewal that will bring something that we have never seen before. Now imagine you log into the game, and the menu already looks different. Maybe the background will turn dark, candles will appear, strange symbols, or even a new music track with a slightly creepy mood. Or maybe a new object will appear in the laboratory with effects that no one will be able to explain in the early days. What if strange liquids appear that change the behavior of objects or give characters some unpredictable effects? And all this is not just added a joke for the sake of a holiday, but part of the overall story of the game. After all, Melon Playground has long hinted that there is some hidden logic inside the world. Easter eggs that are related. Old achievements with encrypted hints. Perhaps 33.0 is the version where everything will finally start to add up to the big picture. And now the question is, why am I even sure that developers will follow this particular path? Everything is simple. They have already made seasonal updates with unusual effects several times. And Halloween is the perfect moment to surprise the players again. Especially considering that the community is now actively discussing the dark side of the game experiments, unknown liquids, and strange objects found in the code. So I wouldn't be surprised if new Halloween-related achievements come along with this update. For example, something like Night of the Melons or the Pumpkin Code. It may be necessary to collect certain items, turn on the darkness, and activate the laboratory in a special order. Or maybe it will be even trickier: the achievement will appear only at a certain time of day or if the date on the device coincides with October 31. In short, guys, the 33.0 update already looks like a real coup. And although it doesn't seem to be global, it may become the update after which the game will be remembered for years to come. What do you think? Do you believe that 33.0 will be called 33.666? Do you think there will be a Halloween mode with secrets and achievements? Write your guesses in the comments, like if you're waiting for an update, and don't forget to subscribe. In the next video, I'll tell you what items and effects can be added to this particular event. And now we are smoothly moving on to the first part of the video, to the most interesting, namely, the Halloween innovations. Guys, I can already imagine how much the game will change. Just imagine you enter the Melon Playground, and everything around is shrouded in a creepy atmosphere. The menu is in dark colors, the background music becomes slow and mysterious, and the moon, pumpkins, and light fog appear instead of the standard background. It's going to be just wow. It seems to me that the Halloween decoration will make the game completely different, as if you were entering a special dimension of Melon. Perhaps even decorative elements will appear on the maps of candles, cobwebs, strange lanterns, and maybe new background effects, as if night hung over the world. And I'm pretty sure that the developer will not limit himself to just a visual. He will surely add a Halloween event. an event where you will need to collect a special currency, such as glowing pumpkins or bats that will drop out when performing certain actions. And then you can use this currency to buy themed mods or exclusive items. Many games have already done this, and if Melon Playground follows this path, it will be just perfect. Imagine how much creativity players will be able to show by creating Halloween scenes with new currency and items. But, as we all know, the developer likes to add not just decorations to the game, but real puzzles. Easter eggs that are not visible at first glance. And if there really is a good time to stuff a bunch of secrets into the game, then it's definitely Halloween. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are scary secrets that players will be searching for weeks. Maybe even a new hidden achievement will appear, and fans will start joining together again to find it. Now imagine how atmospheric it can be. For example, to unlock a new achievement, you will need to place candles all over the map and light them at exactly 3 o'clock in the morning. And if everything is done correctly, the screen will shake a little, a strange symbol will appear, and you will receive a rare achievement. Agree, it sounds insanely cool and is perfect for Halloween night. The developer can also add mysterious objects to the game that behave in an unusual way. For example, you put a pumpkin on the ground and it suddenly starts to glow or change color. Or a new syringe that turns the character into a mysterious shape, or vice versa, makes him invisible for a few seconds. Similar effects have already been seen in mods, so it's logical to expect that something similar will officially appear in the game. If you remember last year, at Halloween time, Dark Staff appeared in the game, a dark staff that looked just unrealistically cool. And now, perhaps, we are waiting for the continuation of this tradition. New Halloween weapons may appear, such as a glowing blade or a pumpkin grenade launcher. Or even a whole set of objects, a candle, a skull, a lantern, a new lamp, a strange syringe. And if you're lucky, there will be new NPCs that will only appear during the event. Imagine, for example, a Halloween NPC with a cape and mask who appears on the map only under certain conditions. Perhaps if you collect all the Halloween items, he will give you a reward or activate an Easter egg. Players love these things, and they create an incredible sense of mystery. But all this, of course, is still guesswork. We can't know for sure what exactly will appear. The developer always keeps the intrigue to the last. He likes to surprise. First he gives the players hints, then he releases an update, and everyone immediately starts looking for where the new secrets are hidden. Therefore, you should not think too much, because there is very little left to wait. Very soon we will see for ourselves what Halloween has prepared in version 33.0. And I am sure that when the update comes out, the community will simply explode with discussions, memes, theories, experiments. All this will capture YouTube and Discord again. And now guys, let's move on to the second, equally important part of this video. There we will talk about exactly what items and effects, according to rumors and guesses, may appear in this update. So don't switch, it will be interesting. So, let's move on to the second part. Now let's talk about what new items and effects may appear in Halloween Update 33.0. And I must say right away, there are already a lot of rumors. Someone in the community says that new syringes will appear. Others talk about Halloween liquids that will glow in the dark. And someone even claims that they will add a new type of turrets that respond to lighting. Let's figure out which of these might be true. Let's start with syringes. We know that the developer likes to experiment with effects. Therefore, there is a chance that some new night syringe will appear. Perhaps it will make the character invisible in low light. Or vice versa, it'll give a glow if there is darkness nearby. These effects are perfect for Halloween. And if you recall past updates where viral and energy syringes appeared, then a Halloween theme can bring something like a cursed syringe. Imagine you enter it, and the character starts to change color, move strangely, or hover in the air. It would look both creepy and interesting. Now the liquids. According to some assumptions, a new liquid may appear in the game by glowing or poisonous. For example, a green glow that spreads across the map and highlights everything around. Or a purple substance that, when in contact with objects, begins to change their properties. The developer has long said that he wants to expand the liquid system, and Halloween is the best time to add something visually vibrant and unusual. By the way, about the turrets. If you've noticed, recent updates have greatly improved the mechanics of modular turrets. Therefore, it is logical to expect the appearance of a new one on Halloween. For example, the pumpkin turret is a pumpkin turret. She could shoot glowing balls or even temporarily blind targets with a flash. Or maybe there will be a ghost turret that becomes transparent when not active. This will definitely cause a sensation in the community. But besides the objects and syringes, there are more interesting guesses. For example, fan mods with Halloween lanterns, candles, and decorative heads have already appeared in the workshop. And it is often through fan mods that you can understand where the developer himself is heading. Therefore, there is a chance that some of these ideas will become official. Now imagine if a Halloween mode appears, even if only temporarily. For example, a limited map with a night sky, sparse lighting, and Halloween effects. It will be possible to run experiments that behave differently at night. Glowing liquids, shadows that don't move the way they normally do. And all this is accompanied by creepy music and rare visual glitches. It would be incredibly atmospheric. By the way, some players noticed that there were old lines in the game's code mentioning the word fog. And if this is true, then there's a possibility that a new visual setting will appear in 33.0, creating a thick fog effect. She could change the atmosphere of the map and affect the lighting. And if the developer adds it officially, it will be just perfect for Halloween. Do not forget about the NPCs. There is an opinion that new characters with unique behavior may appear in the update. For example, a Halloween character who moves erratically or appears only in a certain light. Such NPCs could become part of a secret event or achievements. And if that happens, then the players will definitely have something to do. Now, pay attention. There is another theory that sounds crazy, but if it turns out to be true, then the update will be the most powerful in recent years. According to rumors, the developer is testing a mini-mode night mode. It's not just a change of lighting, but a whole mechanic where objects behave differently in the dark. For example, liquids become faster, turrets react more slowly, and syringes produce other effects. And if it really appears, then Melon Playground will actually get new physics. All this is still guesswork, but there is logic in each of them. We see that the developer is moving towards more interaction between objects. Therefore, the Halloween update may be the very moment where the game will take a step forward not only in content, but also in mechanics. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. In the next part, I'll talk about the most unexpected theories, how the Halloween update may be related to the future plot of Melon Playground, and why some players think something global is coming. So be sure to stay until the end, then it will just be fire. And now guys, let's move on to the second part of the video, and we'll talk about the legendary map, which has been waiting for more than 6 months. Yes, I'm talking about the Endless Ocean map. This is the map that players talk about on every forum, under every post, in every comment. Seriously, if you open discussions about the latest updates, it's the same everywhere. Where is Endless Ocean? When will it be released? Why is it taking so long? And I'm sure that it will finally appear in update 33.0. And now I'll explain why. Firstly, even before the release of version 32.0, the developer himself said that he did not have time to finish this map for release. He literally wrote that the work was almost done, but another version was needed to test everything and bring it to perfection. This means one thing: Endless Ocean should appear exactly in 33.0, because there is simply nowhere to postpone further. Moreover, in recent weeks, more and more leaks have confirmed this. For example, the developer recently showed a new transport created specifically for this map, the submarine. And, guys, she looks just awesome. It's not just transportation, it's a real technological breakthrough for the game. It moves smoothly, completely submerges underwater, and, most interestingly, you can place NPCs inside. That is, they will be able to move underwater with the player. This means that the underwater mechanics in the game will not just be decorative, it will be really playful. And now, attention, in one of the posts, the developer also showed a model of a fish. Yes, fish. And according to some insiders, it's not just a decoration. These fish will react to objects, swim near the player, and possibly even interact with liquids and underwater objects. This is no longer just a new map, it is the beginning of a new ecosystem in the game. And that's where the fun begins. If fish appear in the game, then it is logical that other animals may appear in the future. For example, terrestrial animals, dogs, cats, birds, anyone. It sounds crazy, but remember how it all started. Once upon a time, no one believed that Melon Playground would have full-fledged liquids, turrets, and syringes with effects. And now it's the norm. Therefore, the appearance of animals is only a matter of time. What do you think? Would you like to see animals in Melon Playground? Write in the comments, because it's really interesting to know your opinion. Maybe one of you will come up with an idea that the developer will then take as a basis. Now about Easter eggs. I'm just sure there will be a lot of them on the Endless Ocean map. Think of the Endless City map that was released in 2024. Then the developer added not only the map itself, but also a system of secret seeds, such hidden combinations that completely changed the appearance of the map. For example, one lead turned a city into a ruined metropolis, another made everything flooded, and the third turned the streets into an experiment zone. And if there's something like this on Endless Ocean, it'll be just awesome. Imagine you launch a map and enter in lead, for example, Atlantis. And that's it, the ocean turns into the sunken city of Atlantis, with ruined columns, ancient statues, old domes, and underwater architecture. Light is refracted through the water, and fish slowly swim through the ruins. Tell me honestly, because it would be incredibly beautiful. Now imagine another lead, for example, Abyss. The water becomes darker, the light almost does not pass, and somewhere in the depths a huge shadow flashes. No one knows what it is, but every player tries to swim and check it out. And such things can really appear, because Melon Playground has always been famous for its atmospheric details. Another theory is that there will be not just water on the map, but different layers of depth. For example, the upper level is sunny, the middle one is semi-dark, and the lower one is dark and scary. And each level has its own atmosphere, its own secrets, and even unique items. This would make the map not just big, but really exploratory. And do you know what else adds confidence? The developer has long said that he wants to make a map that feels alive. And Endless Ocean fits that description exactly. Because it's not just a place to experiment, it's going to be a whole world where you can swim, explore, find secrets, and come up with your own scenarios. I wouldn't be surprised if there are even secret objects that are only visible from a certain angle or under certain lighting conditions. For example, if you turn on a flashlight and illuminate the ocean floor, you will notice the silhouette of a huge figure or a hidden inscription. These little things make the game 100 times more atmospheric. So yes, I'm 100% sure that Endless Ocean will appear in Update 33.0. All the evidence, all the leaks, all the facts point exactly to this. And if this happens, then perhaps the most beautiful and large-scale map of the entire existence of the game awaits us. Write in the comments what sightings or ideas you would like to see on this map. Maybe your version will be included in the update. And we still have a lot of guesses and secrets ahead. Because the next part of the video will be no less interesting, and there we will talk about new mechanics that may appear along with the ocean, and why this may be the beginning of a completely new era of Melon Playground. And now let's talk about the most interesting thing about the new mechanics that may appear with the Endless Ocean map and Update 33.0. Many people think that this is just another map for experimentation, but in fact it can completely change the physics of the game. Imagine, you create a character, put him on the surface of the water, and now he reacts to buoyancy. He doesn't just fall to the bottom, as before, but really stays on the water, slowly bobbing on the waves. If he has heavy equipment, he sinks faster, and if he has light equipment, he can even stay on the surface. And all this is not just a visual effect, but real fluid physics that can be used in experiments. I think that in Update 33.0, the developer can add not only buoyancy, but also underwater pressure. That is, the deeper you go down, the more this pressure affects the objects. For example, glass cracks, metal blocks bend, and NPCs start moving more slowly. And this will add a very realistic, even slightly atmospheric vibe to the game. Now imagine if the effect of breathing underwater appears. Maybe the developer will add a new syringe or device that will allow NPCs to breathe in water for a certain amount of time. For example, Oxygen Injector is something like an oxygen buff. You introduce him to the NPC, and he can safely work underwater for a few minutes. This opens up a huge number of ideas for experiments from underwater bases to tests at depth. Speaking of databases, since Endless Ocean is a huge map, it can be assumed that the developer will add new types of structures that can be used specifically in the water. For example, sealed rooms with air bubbles, special doors with water blocking, underwater lights, pumps, generators, and even turrets that work in water. This can really make the game much deeper, literally and figuratively. And another important point is the lighting. It has long been rumored that Melon Playground will receive an updated lighting system. And if this happens on Endless Ocean, then for the first time we will see dynamic shadows underwater, diffused light, reflections, and even refraction. This can make the map look simply and realistically beautiful. Imagine how the sun's rays pass through the water column, reflect off metal parts, and at the bottom you can see how the waves are moving. It's not just a sandbox anymore, it's almost a movie. Another interesting detail is the underwater anomalies. The developer sometimes adds things that are not immediately visible, but then become a legend. For example, on Endless Ocean, a place may appear where everything around is slightly distorted. Maybe this place is connected with some kind of achievement or Easter party. Or maybe it's just the atmosphere that the players will try to figure out. Some players are already discussing that traces of a new liquid have been found in the game's code, perhaps salt water or some experimental substance that can affect the physics of objects. And if this is true, then we will be able to conduct completely new experiments, for example, to compare how different liquids affect the density, behavior of NPCs or objects. Now let's think about the global one. If Endless Ocean adds the mechanics of pressure, respiration, and buoyancy, then this could be the beginning of a new era for Melon Playground. After all, after water, air can appear as a separate medium, gravity zones, temperature, and even weather effects. In other words, the game is gradually turning into a real physics simulator, where you can test everything from biomechanics to the reaction of materials. And that, guys, is really impressive. So yes, the 33.0 update may not just be Halloween, but revolutionary. It can set the direction for the rest of the game's story. I am sure that after this update we will no longer be able to look at Melon Playground as a regular sandbox. It will be something completely new. What other mechanics do you think might come up? Maybe new types of liquid, pressure, air bubbles, underwater plants, or even living creatures that react to the player? Write your ideas in the comments. I will definitely read the most interesting ones and maybe show them in the next video. And yes, if you've watched up to this point, you're really handsome. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so as not to miss the analysis of new leaks on 33.0. And then we will have just a separate video about what exactly the number 33.666 in the update name means and why it can be not just a number, but a real code.